May 1st, 2025, and I'm back with an update and plans for May. This is really, really late today, and for those of you who look for my videos to come out around a consistent time, I'm really sorry. I'll get into what's been going on here later in the video, but just let's say if you've heard the news, and it's minor news compared to what goes on in other areas, we were hit with a really bad storm that knocked out power to a good portion of our city, and we're still trying to get up and running. So I'll give you a little bit more about that later. So before we get into the update, I would like to do the giveaway. I had a video where I did a flip through of the summer edition of Just Cross Stitch magazine. I asked you to write the word summer in your comment, and the winner is, let me see if I can say this right, Laska AU Itch to Stitch, and her comment is, I love summer weather. So thank you. Get in touch with me. I will have my email and Instagram down below. Either one is fine, and I will get that out to you. Okay, let's get into the webs. These first couple I have to show you, I never even planned on working on. This first one, I woke up in the middle of the night, so I don't know what woke me, and I couldn't get back to sleep. So I thought, I can't pick up a book. If I pick up a book while I'm trying to get tired and trying to fall back asleep, I'll get sucked into the book and never go back to sleep. So I picked up this, which is Life Support. The artwork is by Giuseppe MIconi, charted by Stitching Moon Designs on Etsy. Etsy, sorry. I'll tell you why I'm frazzled in a little while here. So I simply added more black down here. And I'm not even sure how many stitches I put in. I'll put the before over my face here. And that one is now at 29.24%. This is on a remnant piece of 20 count Aida in the color Aquarius by Color & Cotton. And I love this fabric. I wish I could get more of it. And I'm going to kind of show you all of this. So this here, this is the hand, the finger, the fist holding the plant, and then you come down, and that's where I'm at. So that's Life Support. I really was happy to pull that out. I haven't worked on that in a while, and I've been thinking about it. So waking up in the middle of the night was fine. Now this next one was kind of a similar story. It got late, and for whatever reason I couldn't wind down. So I thought, okay, I'll pick this up and I can just finish the last motif I'm working on. This is The Office. It's by Stitch Area on Etsy. And I ended up doing more than I thought. I was enjoying this, so instead of getting myself tired, I became even more awake. So I finished the last of the purple that I hadn't finished here. I did this, award? I did this false and the glasses. And then I came up here and I started on this fire. So I will pull this back and show you where that was. And this is currently at 42.63%. So I'm almost to the top there. It's coming along. So this is on an 18 count Whimsy by Color & Cotton. And yeah, it's an Aida. Okay, so now we're into what you knew I was going to be working on. The first one is Brothers. And you know what? I looked it up to see how to pronounce his name. Janka Lateckova. I can't even picture it right now. I'll put it on the screen and I'll make sure I can pronounce it next time. I just forgot to double check that. So I'm working the black. Oh wow, you can really see that. When I was working on this, I couldn't see it. I knew that I was working on his lips when you last saw it. And then I just kept working the black, and now I can see, his hair's being pulled back, more of his hair. Here's his nose, his eye is coming in here, and I'm at 3.85%. And this is a fabric from from Picture This Plus, but I'm not sure which one this is. And the chart is by Geek Threads. So yeah, that was my newest start for the year. I have 2 more starts left for the year, and they'll be coming out later. Okay, the next one is One for Sorrow. I'm finally at 17.83%. This is our artwork by Stephanie Pui-Mun, charted by Heaven Earth Designs. I'm stitching this one on a 20 count Evenweave. And all I did was fill in missing stitches in this section here. I didn't get to anything else. But I will put a before picture over here so you can see that that is getting filled in. So I enjoy pulling this out. I just don't enjoy working on it for multiple days at a time. Really can't wait to get the whole top of that done. But speaking of getting the whole top row done, the next one is Stone Expression. This is artwork by Giuseppe MIconi, charted by Stitching Moon Designs. And I was hoping to get the top row finished finally. And I did. So here's what it's looking like now. And I will put a picture in of that page so you can see just how much was done. I finished that page and I was going to come down here and I just didn't have the time, so that was all I really did complete. But this is now at, oops, excuse me, 35.68%. So I'm just over a third done. And this won't be too big, you know. So what I'm thinking of doing with this is the end of the second row of pages, but I'm thinking of coming down here and working 1.5 pages all the way across, which will leave me with 2 half pages to finish. So that's kind of what I'm planning as far as where I'm going to go with this. So next time I pull this out, you'll see me filling this stuff in and coming down and filling in this section. This is also on a 20 count Evenweave. I dyed this to see, I was dyeing some Aida and I wanted to see what Evenweave dyed like. So no special reason, it just was a fabric that fit. My next one is my Sunday piece, and I'm really happy for the amount of progress I got on this, considering we had Easter Sunday and everything mixed in. So I'm now at 30.27% on this. This is Only the Lonely artwork. Why am I drawing a blank? Adrienne Borda, charted by Unconventional X Stitch. And there's where I am. So I was working on finishing this page, and I finished it, and then I came down here and I started the last page. So this right here, this line is the very bottom of the design. So I'll fill in this page before I go back up and work on the top some more. And I love how just alive that is. This is going to be one of my favorites to look at when I've got it up on my wall. It's going to be gorgeous. So that was my Sunday piece. And then my focus piece was Eyes of the Forest. The artwork is by Inna Badainko. It was sold by mybobbin.com. It's no longer available. I can't find her work anywhere. But I worked on her. So I am now at 76.23%. And there she is. So let me put a picture over my face of where it was. I'll pull back a little bit. And you can see quite a bit. I have not worked on the face, the head of the owl. I did put a few stitches in the eye. So there's a few blue stitches that went in here. But all of the stitching I did this time was on background. So both the top and the bottom. And except for a few stitches up here, you can see right there. And then I have one stitch right there. Other than that, the entire border is now complete. And so next time you see it, I think the border will definitely be complete. And I'm stitching this one color by color, starting with the one with the most stitches needed to complete and finishing that color and then moving on to the next. This has both blends and singular colors. This is on an 18 count Aida that I dyed myself, which is some liquid red. I like the I like the liquid RIT. I can't say RIT and liquid at the same time. I like that better than the powdered version. So all I use is the liquid. So that's what I've worked on for the last 2 weeks. Now let's get into plans. I was trying to come up with something catchy. So May, everybody does something, it seems, for May. And my first year doing Flosstube, I didn't. That was when everyone was pretty much sticking to the original idea of Stitch Mania, and they were starting all the things. So the original was to start 15 projects in the first 15 days of the month. And 15 projects to start is way too much for me. So I didn't do Stitch Mania. And then the next 2 years, I had a full coverage piece that was close enough to a finish that I decided to do Monogamania, or Monogamous May. And I finished that piece and then would move on. The 1 year I started and finished a small piece. So this year I've decided I'm going to get very, I'm going to really challenge myself. And I'm going to try to complete 3 projects, possibly a 4th. And let me show you, and now I'm calling it Mop It Up May because I'm trying to finish these. But I'm not going to work monogamous. So let's say, well, the first one, I will show you. So I will be working on Eyes of the Forest until it's done, but not monogamously. So I may work on this for 2-3 days, put it down, pick up one of the other projects, then come back to it, work on it for a couple days, and so on. It's not going to be a hard set, you know, I'm not going to do 3 days of this, 2 days of this. I'm not doing that. I'm just, if I go to sit down and I'm not excited to work on that piece, it means it's time to move on. And that's what I will do. So what are the other 3 pieces, you may be asking? Well, the first one that I want to finish is Feasting Frenzy. So this is, yeah, this is what it should look like when it's done. This is, I'm using all the kit floss, but I'm not using the fabric from the kit. So this is where I am. This is the top half right here. So you can see where I've kind of not finished the bottom of that belly. There's another bird up here, I think, somewhere, and I have to finish the roof. And then I need to move down to the bottom half. So that will be one I'd like to finish. And I don't think that's too hard. Everything here is 2/1 or 1/1 half cross, and then the birds are 2/1 full cross. So the half cross goes rather quickly, and therefore I think this one can be done this month. The next one, and I picked this because, well, I don't know if I'll get it done. I really would like to. If all I get done is Feasting Frenzy and Eyes of the Forest, I will call it a very successful month. But the next one I picked is because we're maybe going to have some nice weather. And if we have nice weather, I can go outside and I can stitch. And this is one that, while I'll need the chart with me, I only need one color at a time. And this is Snowflake Serenity. This is from the December 2023 Just Cross Stitch magazine. Not the Christmas edition, the December edition. And I changed out the fabric for an 18 count barnwood. And so, as you can see, I started in the wrong place, but this here I can go ahead and keep working. I believe that's 3752 or 3753. So I can work on that, or I can take a green out and work on the trees. And so yeah, if I can get that done, that would be great. This might be bigger. The only one I have stitch counts on is Eyes of the Forest, because that's in Pattern Keeper. So I'm just guessing as to how long this would take to finish. Now, I would like to have 3 on the go at any one time. So when I finish 1, leaving me with 2, I'm going to pull out a 3rd one and possibly finish it. But if not, it will be my, you know, okay, I'm bored of these 2. Let me pick up something else. And this is my Mill Hill Jim Shore Santa and Cardinal. And I've got the outline in. You know, if all I got done on this would be to have this cross stitch done, I'd be happy. If I get the beads in, I'd be ecstatic. So that's That's my Mill Hill. So, that's what you can see in May. I will come back on the 15th and give you an update of where these pieces are and how I'm doing. But it probably won't be a real long video because I will only have 3 pieces at a time to show you. So, life. Okay, I live in the surrounding area of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And we had a storm come through here. Now, when I say storm, it was a thunderstorm, possibly with tornadoes, and we suspect, I haven't heard yet, but we do suspect that there were a couple tornadoes that formed. One of the reasons we suspect that is that when my son went to go see if he had powered his office, he found a metal roof from a commercial business in the middle of the road. So the storm came through almost on the dot at 5 o'clock Tuesday night. And we'd been having up to 70 miles per hour winds. You know what, when I tell you the winds and the temperatures, I'm going to put the Celsius and the conversions, the metric, on the screen. So before the storm hit, we were having wind gusts up to 70 miles an hour. And to give you an idea, this chair that I sit in, without me in it, weighs approximately 250 pounds. And then you put me in it. So I thought, okay, it's really windy, but it's warm. It was like 84 degrees. It fluctuated between 83 and 84. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to go outside. And it's not like the wind can knock me over because I'm in this chair. Well, I sat so that the wind would blow because I was tired of the wind blowing my hair in my face. So I sat so that the wind would blow at me instead of behind me. And one of the gusts, I was relaxed in my chair, and my front wheels came off. It literally tipped my chair. The wind was so strong. And I thought, oh no. So I kind of altered how I was sitting so that it wasn't full on me. And I continued to stay out there. And then just about 5 o'clock, I thought, no, I know it's going to storm any moment now. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go sit under the covered area of the entrance to our building. But as soon as I got there, it started raining. And I thought, oh, this isn't going to work. I could not sit there because the winds were so strong that I was getting drenched, even though I was under a covered area. And there were 2 other people that were going in the building at the same time. It took 3 people with the wind gusts to be able to open the door to let us in. We could not pull the doors open. So we did that. So as soon as I came in the building, then I got inside and one of my friends was there and I turned to say something to her, and as I did, our power went out. And the whole place was black. And I thought, okay, great. I'm downstairs. I live in a high rise. I'm not able to walk 10 flights of stairs. And I'm going, oh no, what am I going to do? And then the power came on. I thought, oh, this is really cool. Okay, no problem. Well, one of the people said, well, that's the backup generator. So I thought, okay. I waited for a few minutes, waited about 10 minutes. People were using the elevator. I thought, okay, it's safe. And I headed up to my place. And I have a fob. Let me see if I can show it to you quietly. I have a fob on my keys. So this is my little fob. And I have an automatic door on my apartment because I live in a wheelchair accessible apartment. And so I'm not thinking, I just hit the fob and my door opened after I unlocked it. And okay, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to have a sandwich for dinner and I'm going to set up my cross stitch and maybe I'll watch a movie tonight and listen to the storm go. I had no power. It was the backup generator and it only worked the hallway, the common hallways, the lights, the automatic doors, and the elevators. So the power had gone out at just about 10 minutes after 5, and I had everything charged, luckily, except my phone. So one of my friends called me and said, hey, I just talked to him. They think they're going to have the power restored by about 9. Okay, 4 hours. You know, this was a wicked storm. Well, 9 o'clock came and went, 10 o'clock came and went. I mean, we got power the next day, Wednesday, at about lunchtime. It was a little before 12, between 11:30 and 12. And I had got up in the morning and I thought, I turned my phone off at night because it was the only thing that I didn't have fully charged. And I contacted family members to say, hey, if you can't get a hold of me, I'm fine. I just don't have battery on my phone and I'm turning it off. When my power came back on at between 11:30 and 12, I contacted my family, said, okay, if you need to reach me, I've got power again. I'm charging my phone. And my son says, yeah, nice. We don't. So he had taken the kids out for lunch and he was trying to find a place that had enough power and had Wi-Fi so he could get some work done because he owns his own business and business doesn't stop just because there's a storm. So he came over here with the kids and he sat here with his computer and he did the work he needed to do, made a couple calls. And, you know, I had a nice time spent with my grandchildren. Well, today they're still without power. So today he had errands to run for his business. I don't know if I mentioned, he's the owner of a real estate brokerage. And so he had to meet up with some people and stuff like that. So he left the kids here and he went and did his work. And while the kids are here, my daughter-in-law calls and says, hey, do you still have the kids? Yes. Any chance you could throw them in the shower? She took a shower last night in cold water because they have no power. So while they're able to get water, they're not able to heat the water. So I've got the kids a shower and I started this video right after they left. They left and I went, oh God, this is still the first. I have to get a video done. And I pulled everything out and, you know. So anyway, my son this afternoon, so it would have been around 3:30, so somewhere in the afternoon, something like that. It was before 4. He informed me that he just heard from his electric company that they don't expect, now today is Thursday, our power went out Tuesday night, and they don't expect to be able to restore his area until maybe Sunday. So I will probably have to get up in the morning. I shouldn't say have to because I enjoy it, but I will probably get up in the morning and have my grandkids all day. My granddaughter's talking about maybe dyeing her hair. I told her if they have any food that, you know, they'd like to prepare for dinner that night to bring it over and I'll cook it here and then send it home. You know, it just, luckily my son, so I'm here, my son lives about 15 minutes southwest of me. And then he has to come past me and 10 minutes to the east is where his business is. So his business has no power, he has no power, but I do. So I'm kind of central and yeah, but pretty much everybody. I saw another neighbor and she was watching her grandchild today because her daughter owns a business and she owns one of those soft ice cream places. And so she's having to clean all that out because they lost it all. We've got a lot of businesses that are closed, especially food related, because they now have to throw everything out and get shipments in to replace the food. So, you know, my son was running into a problem yesterday where, you know, I've got an electric stove, but I can't cook, so let me pick up food, and everybody was closed because even if they had power restored, they don't have safe food. They have to throw out a lot of it. They have to get their suppliers to bring back more food. So it's, you know, we've had entire plazas shut down. So the banks are shut down, the restaurants are shut down, the grocery stores are shut down. It's just been crazy. So that's why I'm like, because I'm already running through my head. What do I need to do tonight? Be prepared for tomorrow. Let's see if I need this for baking, if my daughter-in-law needs this made or that made, or because, yeah, I want to help them out as much as possible. So I hope you have had a much better end of the month than we have, or beginning to May than we've had. And I hope everyone is safe. As far as I know, the latest news that we've had is that power was knocked out to over 400,000. I think it was like 427,000 homes were without power as of Tuesday night when the storm hit. 3 people died. 1 individual was driving home or driving somewhere, and a live power line was knocked down and hit his car, and he died in that. But for the most part, we know to be safe. We know to get in out of the way. I told people I already know where I'm going if there's truly a tornado. I know exactly where I'm going. So yeah, we just, we roll with it. The idea of being multiple days without power is not fun, but at least it's not winter. We're not freezing, worrying about how we're going to keep our children warm. So anyway, I'm going to ramble. So I'm going to let you go. I'm going to wish you well. And Mother's Day in the States is coming up next Sunday. So if you are celebrating Mother's Day in May, have a wonderful Mother's Day. I will see you on the 15th. And hopefully things will be calmed down and I won't feel so frazzled. And with that, bye.